So today, we're going to dive into a story that was pulled from a lost manuscript. It's a tale about memory, about secrets, and about the sheer weight of history, all revolving around one single, unassuming place, the House on the Ravine. And this is the sentence that sets everything in motion. It's a dying man's plea to his grandson, really. A mission to make absolutely sure that history, no matter how painful it is, can't just be erased. This one quote is the key to everything that comes next. All right, so our story starts with a journey. But look, this isn't just a simple trip back home. Oh no, this is a search for a secret that was buried a long, long time ago. A promise made decades before. Okay, let's meet our protagonist, Pavel Yermolov. He's 71 years old, and you can just imagine he's carrying the weight of a whole lifetime. We're talking 43 years in exile, and that includes 7 absolutely brutal years in the Vorkuta labor camp. And that's how long it's been since he last saw his home. Now he's stepping off a bus into a town he barely even recognizes, all because of a promise he made years and years ago. So, you've got to ask yourself, what could possibly bring a man back to a place that caused him so much pain? A secret. His grandfather, Grigory, a man who basically survived by just keeping his head down, took this incredible risk. He buried something in the ravine behind their house, something he was convinced the world had to know, but only when it was finally safe. And for Pavel, after 43 long years, safe has finally arrived. And what Pavel finds in that ravine? Let's just say it's way more than a family secret. It's a full-blown chronicle of destruction. He's going on this old childhood memory, a landmark his grandfather showed him once. He finds the spot, and there, under a big granite stone that kind of looks like a sleeping bear, he digs up this old, rusted metal box. Inside, wrapped in oilcloth to protect it from the damp, is his grandfather's secret, a notebook kept in meticulous detail. And what's inside that notebook it's just staggering. The first thing Pavel sees is a list of names, 847 of them. And these aren't just names, you know? They represent the actual lives of people from their district who were arrested, who were just swallowed by the state between 1934 and 1941. And then it hits home, hard. Right there, among those 847 names, Pavel finds his own parents. Mikhail Yermolov, arrested for anti-Soviet agitation, died in the Kolyma camp. His mother, Elena Yermolova, arrested for the crime of failure to denounce her own husband, was sent to a camp for wives of traitors. Her fate is just listed as unknown. For the very first time, Pavel is seeing their story not as some dusty bureaucratic file, but as one entry in a vast, documented tragedy. So you have to wonder, how was something like this even possible? Well, you have to understand the tool they used. Article 58. It was this terrifyingly vague catch-all law. Anti-Soviet agitation could be a single misplaced joke. Failure to denounce literally turned family members against each other. It was the legal engine that fueled the Great Terror, and it let the state arrest and condemn millions for pretty much any reason at all. So, with this devastating proof in his hands, Pavel's whole mission shifts. It's not just about digging up the past anymore. Now it's about confronting it head-on. Pavel actually seeks out Dmitry Volkov. Now, Volkov is the grandson of the NKVD chief, his grandfather named as one of the perpetrators. Pavel isn't there for revenge, he's not there for money. His goal is simple: testimony. He just wants to make sure the victims are remembered. But Volkov, he sees it completely differently. He accuses Pavel of blackmail, of trying to make the living pay for the sins of the dead. It's a total clash between memory and, well, willful forgetting. And this is the question Volkov just throws back in his face. It's a question that really hangs over this whole story. Where does responsibility end? Is a grandson guilty of his grandfather's crimes? It's a huge ethical dilemma with no easy answer, and it drags the burden of the past right into the present. But just when you think you know where this is all going, that we've hit the moral climax, a forgotten memory surfaces. And it turns out Pavel's quest is far from over. All of a sudden, Pavel remembers his grandfather's cryptic last words. Words he just thought were, delirious rambling at the time. There are 2 bears. The sleeping bear, that's where he found the first notebook. Which means there must be a waking bear. It's a clue. It tells him there's another secret, another piece of the story, still buried out there. And yeah, there is. The second notebook documents a totally different kind of history. This isn't about the state-sanctioned terror. This is about the messy, unofficial reckonings that happened after Stalin died. It details these violent acts of retribution. An interrogator is found murdered. A notorious informer is crippled in a suspicious fire. It even reveals that the NKVD chief himself, Kostin, was arrested and beaten to death by his own colleagues before Stalin was even dead. But here's the thing. Pavel's grandfather offers a pretty chilling take on all of this. He doesn't see any justice in this cycle of violence. He just calls it symmetry, like a machine that's just consuming its own parts. It's this profound distinction between raw vengeance and real justice. He recognized that the system itself was the ultimate evil, and it destroyed everyone it touched, perpetrators and victims alike.
So now, with both notebooks in hand, with a complete testimony, Pavel finally understands his real purpose. He has to turn these buried secrets into a permanent public legacy.
He knows he doesn't have a lot of time left, so he gets to work. He weaves his own story together with his grandfather's notebooks into a single memoir, and he calls it The House on the Ravine. He makes sure it will be published by the Memorial Society, an organization dedicated to preserving exactly this kind of history. And in 2001, with his promise fulfilled, Pavel Yarmolov dies. His mission is finally complete. And this is where you really see the power of what he did. It's not just a book, it's a ripple effect that kept going long after he was gone. The book gets published, a memorial stone is put up in his hometown, and then, in this absolutely stunning turn of events, Anna Volkova, the great-granddaughter of the perpetrator, publishes her own book documenting every single victim from the notebooks. The very house where this whole story started becomes a museum, a permanent place of remembrance. And so, we end up right back where we started, thinking about the fundamental duty of the witness. Pavel's manuscript leaves us with this final, powerful question. It transforms a story about the past into an urgent challenge for all of us in the present. It suggests that remembering isn't a passive act, it's a choice, it's a responsibility, and maybe, just maybe, it's the only true justice we can offer to the silent.